No, it's like that movie where there's like the little fuzzy caterpillar and it like befriends the warlock or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. Sorry about that. What's up, everybody? Eric here, Tabletop Haven, coming at ya with a top 10. My top 10 anticipated for 2023. Yes, it's a chunk into 2023, but hey, you know what? There's a lot of year left, a lot of games to play, a lot of games that will hopefully show up at my doorstep or at my local game store, and I will be able to actually play them this year. A couple on the list are in my possession already, so we will see about that. So, yeah, this is my top 10 games I'm excited for 2023 edition. Starting out with an honorable mention because I don't think that it's actually going to come out this year. It'll probably come out in 2025. If at all, I might just be out like $130. That is Hell the Last Saga. So this is by Mythic Games, which, as you may or may not know, has a boatload of issues going on. They have been selling things off left, right, and center to try and save the company, which is... I approve of trying to save the company. This says 2023. I am skeptical. But I'm excited. This is a big campaign, creepy monster game where you are, trying to find out what happened to your, I think, Jarl, is that the like leader of the Viking? You're like trying to find out what happened to you. Yeah, it's a bummer that I'm like, well, maybe you can kind of zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so like this type of creepy monster things, and they have these big giant ancestors, and I mean these things are huge and massive. So there is that. It's a big miniatures, big campaign game that I am pretty darn excited for if it shows up. I think, I'm not going to say 50-50 shot of this because I think they're, at this point, well, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. It's Mythic, and who knows, they could like just say they're shutting doors tomorrow and that could happen. But that's why this is not officially in my top 10, but if I knew it was actually coming this year, it probably would definitely be in there because I am excited to see where this story goes and how the game plays, because it seems interesting. So that is my honorable mention. Number 10, the official list. This one made it on here. We have Marvel Zombies, a Zombicide game. Now, I did back this. I backed it at the basic pledge, whatever, where you get the base game plus all the stretch goals. And so that's what I have. I do not have the Heroes Resistance coming, but I figure that's going to be available retail. And I think actually I haven't looked into it, but maybe the standee version is enough to, or I wouldn't even need to get the big box of that. But regardless, Marvel Zombies, I have never played Zombicide in my life. But this was my jumping on point. I looked at the Wild West one. Actually heard decent things about the Wild West one, but just didn't pull the trigger on that. Marvel, I don't know. I like the Marvel world. You got the X-Men, you got in there, and zombies, and you're gonna be jumping around, you're gonna be eating things, and it looks like the games are not extremely long. They're quick. Zombicide game, run around, kill things, and have some fun. The playthroughs I've seen of it and everything I've heard is extremely difficult. I don't love extremely difficult, but I'm fine with it. Here's, like, look at that zombie Hulk, and just flipping awesome. This is going to be a blast to paint. Like, just super cool when it's all said and done. Mine probably won't look that good, but they will be cool nonetheless and exciting. And, oh man, This is gonna be so much fun to paint these, and it's gonna be great. Running around killing things. So my number 10, Marvel Zombies. I'm excited for that one. That's probably gonna show up in June, theoretically. CMON's pretty good about getting their stuff out when it's supposed to be out. So hopefully summertime I will be able to play this game. Number 9. Number 9 is a solo game. A solo-only game. Can you guess? Can you guess? It's Legacy of You. Legacy of You by the one and only Shem Phillips. I, until this past week, had never played a Shem Phillips game. I played Architects of the West Kingdom this past week, and I thought it was good. But this one, solo only. The pedigree is there for Garfield Games, Shem Phillips. Like, it's just, you know, I thought this would be a good jumping on point for me. I play a decent amount of solo games, so I've just heard such good things about everything this guy does, and so I was like, yeah, I'll take a shot at it. 60 minutes, one player, bang, bang, boom. Not super heavy. The artwork looks good. I think I'm pretty sure it's the same artist who typically does all of the. Let me see if I'm sure it mentions the artist. Sam Phillips? Oh, actually, maybe not. I think a lot of times he works with somebody else. But regardless, the artwork looks good. And I'm excited to see how this is. Just like a probably worker placement resource management. That seems to be the MO. I was fine with Architects. I thought it was a good game. I've heard it's better with expansions. So, I don't know. I haven't played any of the other ones, but they are extremely popular and people seem to love them. So, I'm excited for this one. It's on the list. Legacy of You. A nice little solo game by Shem Phillips. Number 9. My number 8. I did not watch any playthroughs of this one. Number 8, I did watch a playthrough of it, and that playthrough is what made me pull the trigger on it. It is the Fox Experiment. This is Elizabeth Hargrave. She did Wingspan. I watched the Dice Tower playthrough of this, and it just seemed fun. It just seemed like a good time. It seems like there's a decent amount of stuff going on. Enough to make it interesting, and then you get to name little wolves, and you get to have little wolf pups, and then you're rolling dice, and you're mixing matching things, and it seems good. It seems cool. It seems fun. It seems cute, and it seems like an accessible game. Let me see here if I can find. I messed it up. I done messed up, team. Oh well. We go here. Yeah, 60-minute playtime, boom. Like, if you can get that, an hour game, like, with enough decisions going on, exciting stuff, I think the Fox Experiment is going to be good. I think it's going to see the table. I think it's going to be enjoyable. And, yeah, that's why it's my number 8 on the list. So, the Fox Experiment. I believe this Legacy of You and this one, I think, are probably fall of 2023 that I'll be looking to probably get my hands on these. I kickstarted both of those. So far, all 3 I kickstarted. So, hey, there you go. You might see a trend. All right, number 7. Number 7 is another not official solo game, but very likely a game I will play solo. That is Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. I think it's hysterical that it says 2022 right here. I am pretty certain this has not seen any life anywhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it, hit Asia. But it's definitely not here, and it's definitely not coming for a while. So 2022 is a thing. But Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising, it re-implements Kingdom Rush, which is kind of a tower defense game. It's actually apparently based on an app, which is a tower defense app. But in Elemental Uprising, similar to Kingdom Rush, you have kind of you got your towers you're going to build up. You have these little polyomino pieces that you're going to be able to place out, trying to defeat monsters that come through. And then you have big baddies and stuff that you're fighting. You have a little hero that you can run around, and he can, like I think this is a hero here. They can run around, cover different spaces. You have to cover up the different spaces to stop damage. Then you have towers that are shooting things. You can upgrade the towers and things like that. This one just seems like a real solo puzzle that I can sit down and enjoy the heck out of. So I am very excited for this one. I kickstarted this one a long time. This one has been in the works for a while. I feel like this was probably 2020 when I backed this. I don't know that for certain, but yeah, it is. It's been a while, but it's fine. It's a Kickstarter. I expect that. I expect my game to show up at some point. This one might not ever show up, but typically with Kickstarter, I know it's going to show up. I don't stress about when it's actually going to happen because I understand that things in the world are crazy right now, so I don't expect miracles to happen from people, and it's a slow process. And so I back something and it shows up when it shows up, hopefully. So far I haven't had anything not show up, so hell might be the first. Yeah, so that's that. Kingdom Rush is going to be, that one, very likely I'm just going to play solo, and it's going to be a fun little puzzle. I can sit down and play 45 to 90 minutes. I think there's different scenarios you can play, so you might be able to play shorter ones, longer ones, or you might die in 45 minutes because you're bad, like me. And then you'll play another game, and then it'll be 90 minutes for 2 games. Haha, how about that? Alright, there we go. That is number 7 on my list, Kingdom Rush. Elemental Uprising. I heard it cleans up a little bit of the fiddliness of Rift in Time, so that also makes me happy. Second versions, or second implementations of games, a lot of times can and will clean up. It's not always though, but I'm hopeful that this will clean up a little of the fiddliness that the first one had. But regardless, I'm very excited for that. I would have been excited for just the regular game, so the fact that I'm getting something different, cool. I will take it. Number 6. Number 6 is my first non-Kickstarter. So this one is this one might have technically hit retail in 2022, possibly, but it's extremely hard to get your hold of. And yeah, it's listed as a 2022. Heat, Days of Wonder. My racing game experience is pretty low. I played Jamaica, which is a racing game. There's probably another one or two maybe that I've played, but I have watched some playthroughs on some different ones, and this one just seems extremely clean, extremely good, and extremely well done production and everything surrounding it. Everything, like the amount you get just in the base box, seems to have a ton of replayability. So that's awesome. We got little cars. I know they're already talking about expansions and blah blah blah, but I know there's multiple maps and things already in your base game. So this just seems like another game that's gonna hit the table. It's gonna see play, and it's gonna be fun plays, and it seems like such a good clean design that seems like so much fun, and a great racing game that I'm super pumped to hopefully this year get, and hopefully it will, they're pumping them out right now and they'll get over here summer, fall, for all the people who are hooking that. Like, I'm definitely not the only one who's wanting this game. So Heat, pedal to the metal, very excited for that one. That is my number 6. Racing game on there. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk Eric would have a racing game on his list? What in the world? All right, number 5. Number 5 is interesting because number 5 could easily be number 1. But here's what we're gonna go with. Number 5. It's a big old campaign game, and it is Sleeping Gods: Distant Skies. So, Sleeping Gods. Oh, Sleeping Gods, you are a glorious, glorious game. Sleeping Gods, for me, was nigh perfection. I had so much fun with that game. I would come downstairs, my gaming area, I'd throw on some pirate music, some adventure music, and I would just have an adventure. I would just sail around, drive my boat around. Who knows what's going to happen? And people ragged on the combat in that game quite a bit, and apparently this cleans it up. I didn't mind the combat. Like, I don't know. I also think that maybe who knows if I was playing combat wrong. Like, there was people who were like, man, the combat's ridiculously hard. What, the combat's really easy? I didn't find it extremely difficult. I don't know. I might not have been playing it right. I don't know. Regardless, I loved Sleeping Gods so much. That's why this could easily be my number one. But at the same time, I love Sleeping Gods so much that it's like more Sleeping Gods. So I love Sleeping Gods. So like I kind of know what I'm getting at. I know this is a little more streamlined. Instead of playing 9 characters, you're playing 5. So it's going to be even easier to handle solo, which will be cool. I'm sure it's going to be done wonderfully. And this is also a possibility that I don't know if 2023 we're going to see this. I think there's a real big possibility this is 2024. So we could kick this to an honorable mention. That's another reason it's not number one. Because A, Sleeping Gods exists and is fantastic. And B, 2023 I think is questionable. But Ryan Lockett is some kind of magician. And he's probably like printing it in his basement right now, along with a pallet of money, which he should get because Sleeping Gods is so good. It's so good. Like, it's so good. It is one of my best gaming experiences, is just immersing myself in this world of Sleeping Gods and just having so much fun with the game. I just left it sat up on the table. Every night I would come down after the kids went to bed, and I would just go into this world and love it and live in it, and it was wonderful, and I'm excited to do the exact same thing with this. It's my number 5, could easily be my number 1 because it's Sleeping Gods, and I think it's fantastic. So, there we go. Number 4 is another big campaign-y type game, big sprawling game. This is another one that is not technically 2023. This is Solomon Kane. Now, Solomon Kane is a real interesting one. As you can see, came out in 2021. I did not get in on the initial Solomon Kane action. I heard about it, I thought about it, I looked at it, I ultimately didn't pull the trigger on it, and then I somewhat regretted it because everything I heard about this sounded right up my alley and sounded great. So yes, you 1 to 5, best at 1. A solo game that, again, kids go to bed, I can come down and just sink myself into this world. And this world seems really cool. You are, let's see if it talks about it a little bit in here. Based on the stories, I never read the stories. Narrative adventure, exceptional minis, blah, blah, blah. Cooperative, storytelling, resource management, tactical. Players take the part of invisible powers of good and light who aid Solomon Kane's quest. So you're not actually playing Solomon Kane. You're playing, like, the influences on him. And I think that's super cool. And so, yes, Solomon Kane is moving around, but you are kind of seemingly, like, having his decisions made based on thoughts and feelings that you're giving to him. And, like, I don't know, it just seems cool. And I heard it's very good, and it's very immersive, and it's a very great story. This one is, again, Mythic Games. So this has got a whole lot of, not caveats, but a whole lot of potential of not seeing 2023 happen. So they had, this was when Mythic was still fully Mythic. I mean, they're still Mythic, but this was when they were still fully controlling everything. and they had a pre-order set up for this, so you could go on and pre-order the game, which I did. It was then months later. They sold this to, I think, Monolith Games, so Solomon Kane is now a Monolith. Monolith owns it. I messaged Monolith. I heard nothing. I heard crickets. I messaged Mythic, and they said that Mythic and Monolith are in talks about how it's going to get filled. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful on this one. I'm hoping it shows up, but it's potentially, between this and Hell the Last Saga, it's potentially $250 I'm out, which would be not ideal. But if it shows up, clearly I'm excited. It's my number 4. I'm very excited to throw this one down and see what transpires, because I think this is going to be another one that I'm just going to be able to come and live in the world and experience the stories, and I just love that. I love when a game can just suck me in, and I'll be sitting around all day just thinking about, oh, okay, I can't wait till I can go home. The last game that probably did that for me on a huge scale was Madara. Madara was another fantastic game that just, it clicked with me, and I had so much fun playing that game. I wanted to play it every single day, and I played it as much as I could because I love coming back to it. I love the story. I loved the gameplay. So I'm hoping Solomon Kane is that exact same thing, and that's why it's my number 4. So another thematic big ol' game that I am excited for. Number 3, another big theme game. This one is going to be app assisted, and this one is going to be The Dark Quarter. Oh baby. Okay, so The Dark Quarter, it doesn't say it here, but it is kind of a not retooling, but kind of another iteration of Destinies. But this one is a real, this is MA. This is like, there's going to be violence, there's going to be language, like, it's just going to be, it takes place in Louisiana, Dakota down south. Like, oh man, the setting of it, the supernatural nature of it, everything about it just seems great. It is not only that, it's a collaboration between Lucky Duck and Van Ryder. So you have Lucky Duck, who is really, really good at app-based games. They have your Chronicles of Crime, your Destinies. Then you have Van Ryder, who's your Final Girl. So you have that kind of horror. You have these two worlds coming together for something that I think potentially could be amazing, could be ridiculously fun, and just going around figuring out, all right, I think it's basically like you're a supernatural detective agency. You're going around, you're figuring out, all right, what the heck is going on here? And yeah, man, this one is, this has got the potential to be real fun, real good, and real exciting to get to the table. This is also one I'm probably not going to play solo. I think this is one I'm going to try and play with my 3-player game group. We played Chronicles of Crime, so I think this one is going to potentially, when it shows up, hit the table pretty quick, and we're going to get into it and get down to the Dark Quarter and see exactly what's happening. 1980 New Orleans. Whoo, baby. Like, what a setting. What a great, fun setting for a game. And man, from everything I've heard, like, it sounds like they're putting all their effort into making this a real beauty, and good voice acting and everything. And so, yeah, Dark Quarter, it's my number 3. I'm excited. Number two I have in my possession. Number 2 is a Kickstarter. I did kickstart this one, by the way, Dark Quarter. Number 2 is a Kickstarter that I got I believe I got it at the very end of 2022, so it's not technically a 2023 game, but I'll be playing it in 2023. It's another big old campaign game with all kinds of story, all kinds of shenanigans going on. That is ISS Vanguard. Oh, man. So currently, this is sitting on my shelf right over there, and it is begging me. It is begging me to go on the table and sit there and get played every night. And it's close. I am currently doing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice, and I'm playing through that. And it's good. But ISS Vanguard, man, I am really excited to... I know that I won't get Assassin's Creed back out for a long, long time if I pull this out. So that's why I'm trying to get through that. And, to be fair, Assassin's Creed is picking up. And so I am excited to keep playing that. And then after that, ISS Vanguard is getting to the table. And I'm going to be doing videos on ISS Vanguard. Like, after... I think this is going to be one that I talk about a lot. I hope it is. I should say, I hope. I hope. Because, honestly, if I'm talking about most anticipated, which we are, right? It's my most anticipated of 2023. One of my most anticipated for 2022 would have been Etherfields. And Etherfields let me down. Kind of in a big way. Like, and I'm hoping that ISS Vanguard doesn't. I'm hoping that I'm not building it too much up in my brain where when I actually get to play it, I'm going to be like, but I don't know. I just don't see that happening. I'm so excited for everything. The planet phase, you can go down to visit the planet, and then I've heard like the ship phase. I love that kind of stuff, like building up your ship. You're managing everything. You're managing this entire ship filled with people, personalities, all kinds of stuff that you have to deal with. And so, like, you have two potentially really, really sound games that I hope don't clash, and I hope that they're equally enjoyable in what they bring, and that I'm not suffering or struggling through one part to get to another part, because I think that's when a game can kind of go down, when you feel like you're dreading a part of it. I think that's what happened with Etherfields. Is I just ultimately I don't know. But regardless, we're not talking about that. We're talking about ISS Vanguard, and from what I've heard and seen on it, it's everything I'm hoping for, and hopefully more. But this is another one that I'm likely going to just play solo, and I'm just going to set it up, leave it set up, and come back to it, and have a wonderful space adventure that's going to span generations of time. And I mean... You know, you got the artwork in it is incredible. The miniatures are super cool. Like, there's just so much stuff. It's got big old chunky dice. Yeah, it's just great, man. Just excited. Just really, really excited for ISS Vanguard. That's why it's my number 2. Number one, ISS Vanguard and this one were pretty close. But ultimately I've been so excited for this game since I first... ISS Vanguard is a Kickstarter. My last one's a Kickstarter. The last one I've been excited about before the Kickstarter even came out. I was interested in it. And then the Kickstarter happened, and I was just like, oh... This just seems so good, so exciting. It is Primal the Awakening. Primal the Awakening, it's very, very similar-ish to Monster Hunter. If you played Monster Hunter, the video game, they also have Monster Hunter the board game, which came out roughly at the same time, but I didn't back this one. I thought Primal seemed, for me, a lot more interesting system, a lot cooler system, and so for me, like, this was an easy choice over Monster Hunter the board game. This one has kind of a card management system where you are paying for cards using other cards, and then you're able to chain your cards together to form different attacks. I really like the way that they... there's not a ton of images, probably. Let me see if I can find... No, I'm not going to be able to find it. There's not a lot of images. But there's obviously a ton of different cool miniatures. It's a boss battler. You got your heroes over here, your giant monsters that you're fighting here. But the way the game works is it's not like a hex or a grid based big board. It's a 4-quadrant board that the big monster sits in the middle of, and then you have like a front, a rear, and then the 2 flanks on it. And so essentially the monster is going to move different directions, and you're going to have to... So it simulates as if the monster's moving around and you're moving around with it, but you're not actually moving like... And I think that is huge. I think that is... It's going to feel... For me, I feel like it's going to feel better that I'm just fighting. Just fighting constantly instead of being like, okay, I'm going to move over here. Now, don't get me wrong. Like with Oathsworn, I like the nature of like the tactical movement. Where do you place yourself? Where are you gonna position yourself to? And but this has a similar thing where you know kind of what attacks are coming up next, so you can kind of prepare for it. And yeah, I just think this is gonna be fantastic. It's got the if you know Monster Hunter at all, you're gonna have be able to harvest pieces off of the monsters you fight and then build them into like swords or bows or things like that. And so you're gonna like just everything about it seems fantastic and at the top of the list, and why ultimately I think it took over ISS Vanguard somewhat convincingly is the gameplay. I think the gameplay in this, I think ISS Vanguard is going to tell a better story. It's going to be, all the stuff that's happening on the ship and dealing with the ship, that's going to all be interesting, but I think Primal the Awakening is going to be a better game. Primal the Awakening, I'm hoping, is going to be, I'm not going to say the best game on the list, but like the game mechanics that I'm going to most enjoy out of this list is I'm hoping this one. I love Marvel Champions. Love Marvel Champions. Those agonizing decisions of what are you going to get rid of to play your ability? What do you need to get rid of? What I really want to play this card, but it is not helpful in this situation, and this card over here that's clearly worse is going to pay off way better right now, even though I'd love to have this one in 2 turns to be able to do like those decisions in Marvel Champions. Put in a boss battler. Yes, please. I am so excited for this. It is my number 1. I'm not going to say by a long shot, but it is definitely my number 1. Yeah, I'm hoping I see it in 2023. This is another one that there is potential that it might not come till spring of or early 2024. The updates that I've been getting are technically positive, and technically, we have 10 months, but life and production and costs and things like that. So the cool thing that I like about this one, I think the Pledge Manager is closing soon, but they held off on the charging for shipping because this was probably maybe 2020, maybe early 2021 backing that I backed this, and that's when things were going ballistic in the shipping world. So they held off on shipping, and they said we're gonna charge shipping at the very last possible minute to try and get you. And I think ultimately that's gonna be a good thing for the consumer, because I think it's going to be a lot less. It's probably going to be half of what they would have had to charge, because there's going to be a lot of plastic. It's going to be a heavy situation. There's going to be a lot of weight, and so yeah, I thought that was cool by the company. I'm hoping everything comes together. It seems like the miniatures, they've been spending a lot of time making sure, and they've been making sure that they've changed a lot as far as like the campaign and the story setting and how everything works. So man, this has the potential to just be amazing. So that is why Primal the Awakening is my number one, my most anticipated game of 2023. I hope it shows up in 2023. But yeah, that is 10/11 games that I am extremely excited about. Any one of them shows up tomorrow, and well, I have ISS Vanguard. But yeah, it's going to be hard to keep some of these off the table. And hopefully I don't get like 4 in a month, because that'll be an issue I'll have to deal with when that happens. But anyway, you've watched this far. I'm going to give you 33 points. Play games, have fun. I love you. Keep on keeping on out there, and hopefully, I don't know if you'll be able to get in on any of these late pledges or whatever, but you know, if any of it sounds interesting, feel free to check it out, and we will catch you later. Bye.